पार्टिसिपेंट अटेंडेंस के लिए आप चैट बॉक्स में आपका रोल नंबर डालिए। ऑल पार्टिसिपेंट, आप अटेंडेंस के लिए आपका रोल नंबर चैट बॉक्स में डालिए।
So very good morning, good afternoon to one and all. Respected resource person for this afternoon session, Dr. Upendra Kulkarni sir has joined our cloud meeting. So on behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar, I welcome him. Dr. Upendra Kulkarni sir, a retired professor of civil engineering and architecture from Shri Guru Govind Singh Ji Institute of Engineering and Technology, Nanded. He was specialized in water management with 25 years of teaching and research experience in this field. He was also member of management committee of Deen Dayal Research Institute, Delhi. He is also active member of Indian Water Partnership and International Organization since 2011. Engaged as a council member of Indian Water Work Association, contributed significantly to organizing like Sarovar Sanvaridhini and the Indian Water Culture Society. Currently serving as a chairman of Aurangabad Center of Indian Water Work Association and as a member on the advisory board of Indian Water Partnership. So indeed, it is really an honor and pleasure to have him here in today's afternoon session. So again, I welcome our respected Dr. Upendra Kulkarni sir, and I would now hand over the session to him.
Namaskar, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we can start.
सर थोड़ा वॉइस कमी है तो
बा वाढू का नाही?
माइक थोड़ा जवळ घ्या सर माइक.
नाही, माईक जवळच आहे.
हा.
Good afternoon to all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
So I have planned this lecture for around 2 hours. Basically, I will give initially the specific contents of national education policy and its reference to skill education, and then I will specifically talk about skill education part with reference to NEP. My consideration for this skill education is since 2020, when this NEP was being discussed in Sambhajinagar also, I have attended many such discussion sessions when it was about to be sanctioned, approved by Government of India. There were a lot of inputs received. This is for the first time probably that a lot of inputs have been received by the government and accordingly are incorporated in the policy. Thereafter, I have been part of various discussions by AICT and similarly by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, Lodere, wherein I remember a few things related to today's topic. Like one of the member delivering talk during that, he said the skill component is very important, and like he was mentioning about education system globally, and he said Gurukul system is the best world over because he has studied various education systems. So what does this Gurukul system says? It imparts knowledge from one person to another person. And we all know that our wisdom as oral tradition, like after generation, the knowledge has been passed from one person to his Gurukul participants and so on. So this oral tradition is very important, and this is very important part of Gurukul system. And he said that this system is very important. One of the speakers in that Batulonere seminar. So particularly as far as skill is concerned, today I wish to refer to one of the legendary person from Adilabad, Ravindra Sharma, who passed away very recently. And he used to run a skill education system in the form of Gurukul system at Adilabad, Kalasra. He used to teach various types of karigari system like wooden work, metal work, and so on and so forth. Even soil, mitti, kakam. So all these types of things were taught in his Gurukul. And he was mentioning that we have a very rich tradition, and that is also a part of, I can say, oral tradition. So this passed on from one generation to next generation through oral traditions. So that's why I'll be discussing this particular part of skill education because our main concern is in our district centers and taluka centers, and sometimes even small village level institutions. We find that our student turnout at the college is very less. And then, like recently on 5th of April, we were discussing IK system in Bid, wherein they used to say that we talk about such components under NEP, but we do not see our students at the college. How do you really discuss these things, and like community engagement, IKS, value education, and various other skill parts? So my concern is basically how do you really attract? How do we really attract? How do you really attract the students to colleges? कोई बोल रहा है कि हिंदी में होता है तो ठीक है, तो मैं बीच बीच में हिंदी का भी उपयोग करूंगा। तो हमारी समस्या है कि जैसे मैंने अभी एक विषय रख रहा था कि हमारी समस्या है कि हमारे विद्यार्थी कॉलेज में दिखते नहीं है। तो जो भी नवीन नवोत्थान के प्रयोग करने हैं वो प्रयोग कैसे करें, इसलिए आज के भाषण में मैं कुछ उदाहरण भी ऐसे प्रस्तुत करूंगा जिसका उपयोग अभी भिन्न भिन्न यूनिवर्सिटी में हो रहा है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड अमोल, नेक्स्ट अमोल, हाँ बस,
yes, next कर
हाँ नहीं, हाँ ठीक ठीक। So my point, I was referring to Gurukul system and Ravindra Sharma and all that. So it's a very comprehensive, the things that you see here. Dharmapal's the beauty. Initially, I have put 3 slides to tell you that our history and our legacy is something different. Like we call it our economic system as agricultural economy system and so on. So we had to change this particular thing, and that's why it has then connection with the skill education. Dharmapal says that we have a very rich tradition, the thing that I was referring to. So what is that rich tradition? Pre-colonial prosperity before East India Company's arrival, India's GDP was superior to Europe. And we have like many references referring to first century, like in Italy, we found one, can say, component, one sculpture, which is very similar to the one observed in Ter, Dharashur district of Maharashtra, Marathwada. So we find that there is a trade route from Hyderabad to Ter, then Paithan, then we have Ujjain, and so on, and towards through China, it was towards European countries. So we have a reference to first century, and Italy has witnessed that sort of can say a, a tradable commodity which was observed in Ter, and now we have a very good museum in Ter. So when we say that we were global leaders uh, in the first century, and our contribution to the trade was very significant, like 30% and so on. So before, can say, uh, arrival of East India Company, it was 23%. And there is a video now we can see, which will tell you about this, again, the entire history of our GDP contribution and how where we stand today also. But globally, historically, what was our contribution in the global trade? And then later on, I'll tell you about some global trade routes and so on. Can you play the video? Hello? Can
Yes,
you
sir.
play it? Yeah. First video that I have sent morning. Just now at 2 o'clock, I have sent one video. GDP contribution.
Okay, okay, sir.
Please play that.
Sir, this one.
This one.
Second one.
First one.
First.
1880 wala. So here you can find that we were next to China, and our contribution was very significant in 19th century. If you still go back, like I was mentioning about first century, it was still more. Like the video says, China and India contributed to more than 50%. And you can observe that after 1757 Plassey and other things, United Kingdom has started gaining and India started losing. बंद कर सकते हैं. We can go back to our PPT. PPT. So this is about the supporting video for what Dharmapal has written in the beautiful tree. Mahatma Gandhi used to say that we had a beautiful tree and Britishers have uprooted this beautiful tree. So what are these, like I was telling you about the global trade and other things. So what was that? There were many things like ढाका की मलमल बहुत प्रसिद्ध हुआ करती थी और लोग यूरोप में ढाका के मलमल के संबंध में बहुत ही पागल थे. सारे रिच लोग जो होते हैं उस समय 1851 की स्टोरी है. उस समय उसकी कीमत 5,000 to 40,000 थी. So this Dhaka Malmal part of Bangladesh was very famous globally, and people were mad after that. And that's why this karigari and this sort of production was the main reason that it has contributed to the GDP of India, increasing much higher than USA and UK and other things. And we have a book writing about the world trade in the first century, the Periplus of Erythraean Sea. This is the account of a person who has traveled, merchant, who has traveled to India, and it is the story of first century. So this tells you about the type of trades that we had with Europe. Like Malmal, how this Malmal was lost when East India Company came to that. So they have started purchasing this Malmal, which was sold at much higher price. बहुत महंगी बिकती थी, उसको बहुत ही सस्ते दाम में और अत्याचार करके, कारीगर पर अत्याचार करके बहुत सस्ते दाम में उसको परचेस करते थे और ऊंचे दाम में फिर यूरोप में जाकर बेचते थे. So because of this control this East India Company had over India, and particularly initially it was in Bangladesh, Bengal part, east part, जहाँ ये सारी मलमल बनती थी. तो ये सारे कारीगरी पर उनका कंट्रोल होने लगा और धीरे धीरे उनको वहाँ का वस्त्र पॉपुलर करना था. तो धीरे धीरे अत्याचार करके तो सस्ते में जब परचेस करते हैं तो स्वाभाविक रूप से कारीगर will start dying because they don't get money, so they will die, because when they have to produce malmal, it was 16-step process of preparing that sort of textile. So 16 steps means it requires months together, then only they get some amount of, but when that amount is reduced, then they have to starve. And obviously earlier they were rich, but now they have in the East India Company rule, उनको भूखे मरना पड़ा. और धीरे धीरे वो कारीगरी, जब उससे पैसा ही नहीं पैदा हो तो प्राप्त होता, तो स्वाभाविक रूप से वो कारीगरी खत्म होती है. तो एक जमाने में 1851 की स्टोरी में जैसे बता रहा था कि एक जमाने में ये कारीगरी बहुत फेमस थे और इट यूज्ड टू कंट्रीब्यूट वेरी मच टू इंडियन जीडीपी. ये अंग्रेज आने के कारण धीरे धीरे ये सारे खत्म हो गए. इसलिए दिस एन ऑथेंटिक document Dharmapal has written, who was disciple of Mahatma Gandhi. He went to London and from that library collected all the material and he has written down. So this story that I'm telling you about the video and the story of Dharmapal and other things is to highlight the importance of karigari. So service sector really cannot contribute to increased GDP. If you want to have our increased contribution in the global trade, it has to be karigari and artisanship and manufacturing and so on. So there is one more reference why we had such, can say, very good contribution in GDP. So we have a reference from Susrut Sahita that Susrut says we used to have 100 surgical uh, tools because we had the knowledge, and this knowledge was then exported to European countries. We had the knowledge of iron and carbon alloys, and then we had three types of, can say, manufacturing processes, and we could. There is a process called, can say, by which we can extract zinc. So this is how then bronze is prepared by combining two metals. So bronze, panchadhatu, then so and so forth. This is an thing that Indians have, can say, mastered, and because of which we can find that such tools were exported. This metal was exported. These alloys were exported, and so on and so forth. So this was the major reason for increased contribution. So सुश्रुत संहिता में जो लिखा है, तो उसके बारे में ये मिथ न समझते हुए हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि ये सारा उस समय था, क्योंकि उस समय इस सारी प्रक्रिया की जो प्रोसेसेस होती है, इंजीनियरिंग प्रोसेसेस होती है, देयर आर मेनी पीपल इन इंडिया हु हैव read the documents from Susrut and other Sanskrit literature, and they have produced that sort of metal, iron, zinc, and so on in different parts of India. So by using that process, like extracting zinc within 500 degree to 550 degree, so that requires a skill. उसी में मिलता है जिंक 500 से 550 में मिलता है, तो आपको उसी समय उसको एक्सट्रैक्ट करना पड़ता है। तो ये सारी जो प्रोसेस होती है, वो प्रोसेस सब उस समय लोगों को मालूम थी। इसलिए अनलेस एंड अनटिल कारीगिरी इज कैन से टॉट इन आवर एजुकेशन, वी कैन नॉट रियली प्रोवाइड एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू ऑल। नेक्स्ट।
यस सर, यस।
So that's why we find that अभी जो पंतप्रधान विश्वकर्मा योजना जो उसको किए है, पब्लिश किया है, तो उसका बेसिक कारण यही है कि हमारे शिक्षा पद्धति में इस सारी कारीगरी का जो विषय है वो जरा निचले स्तर में आ गया है। अगर कोई कारीगर है तो उसको कोई सम्मान के साथ नहीं देखता है। तो हमें चाहिए सूट बूट वाला व्यवसाय चाहिए, ऑफिस में चेयर में बैठकर काम करने की व्यवस्था चाहिए, और उसी को हम पसंद करते हैं। इसलिए बोला गया है कि मैकॉले has developed a system through which only babus could have been produced. So that's why the skill component has now found a place in national education policy. So that's why to honor these traditional karagirs, Pradhan Vishwakarma Yojana will provide tools, training, and loan also to traditional karagirs. ये आत्मसम्मान के पुनर्स्थापना का विषय है। तो ये जो काम करते हैं, जो सारे आर्टिजन प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, तो ये सिस्टम को रिवाइव करने की आवश्यकता है, और ये ट्रेडिशनल स्किल को सस्टेन करने की आवश्यकता है। एक बाम्बू इनिशिएटिव जो मेलघाट धारणी में जनजाति क्षेत्र में होता है, so basically they have good knowledge of material, like वन वडार जो पत्थर पे काम करता है, तो उसको पत्थर की जानकारी है, इसलिए वो पढ़ा लिखा नहीं है, लेकिन उसको पत्थर की जानकारी होने के कारण वो साइंटिस्ट है। वो समझता है कौन सा पत्थर लेकर उसकी मूर्ति बनाई जा सकती है, चिजल आउट किया जा सकता है। तो इस प्रकार ये सारे कारीगर जो बेसिकली सम्मान के पात्र है, और जिनको मटेरियल के बारे में और उसके ऊपर होने वाले प्रक्रिया के बारे में जो जानकारी है, उसको रिवाइव करना है। So that's why, because they had knowledge of material, that's why they could prepare, can say, conduct processes on that particular material to develop a particular tool or sculpture and so on. So that's why we have to honor these things, these skills, which can really contribute to national economy. Next. Next. So that's why you find that this NEP component includes, these are the basic aspects of it. There are 5 pillars: affordability, accessibility, quality, equity, and accountability. So we want to give quality education. Even if it is Karigari, it should be of good quality. I'll talk about that good quality education in Karigari later on when we talk about Narmadalaya on the bank of river Narmada. It should be affordable, it should be accessible, it should be honor equity, means everyone should get entry into the system, and it should be accountable, because we want to have quality education means it should be accountable to someone, and it should be outcome based. So we must ensure that outcomes are possible. So to talk about equity and inclusion then talks about Divyang and those who are left out, school dropouts, women, and so who are married at the age of 12, 13, 15 or something, which is very common in different parts of Maharashtra and elsewhere also. So when they are married at the age of 15, 16, obviously they will leave the school. So the lady getting married at 15 means she's school dropout, and after marriage she doesn't have a chance to enter the colleges. So this inclusion has now provided facility for the girls, for the women to enter the college education. So what is that inclusive policy? We'll talk about that later on. So our aim is to increase GR, gross enrollment ratio, to 50% by 2035. At the moment, it is hardly 27, and that too it is unequal. Means in Mumbai region, we'll have much higher GER, whereas in Sambhajinagar or in Amravati and can say Buldana, this GR will be much less, 20% or 22%. So we want to increase this GR. So that's why initially when we talk about this 50% GR, that's why initially I was talking about how do you really attract these students at Fulambri or Jafrabad or Bid or Python and so on in the colleges. So to attract them, we must really do something so that they join college, they come, attend, learn, get their training for skill, become employable, and earn something so that they contribute to the economy. So this contribution towards regional economy is very unequal. Like for Karnataka, so it was said that main contribution to economy is from Bangalore region, or Mysore region. So the north part of Karnataka really doesn't contribute significantly to the economy of Karnataka. Why this happens? Because the quality of education is not at par in the north part of it. And that's why people will rush to Bangalore, will rush to Mysore for getting quality education. And that's why you find a lot of institutes in Bangalore, lots of institutes in Bangalore, lot of IT infrastructure in Bangalore. It is spillover, means it is a burden to Bangalore city, Bangalore Municipal Corporation. And that's why this unequal distribution of wealth is the outcome of that. So this policy talks about inclusive education and providing opportunity of good quality education to all in different parts of it. So you can move from this part to that part. So if student wants to go to Bangalore and come back to Nanded, go to Pune and come back to Sambhajinagar, so that flexibility is now made available to the student, because it is student centric. It is multidisciplinary because we do not have really any thing possible. Like if you talk about, let us say, ventilator. So ventilator is used by a doctor. So doctor has to understand what that ventilator is. Similarly, his assistant uh, technician must understand what is that ventilator is. So its theory, practice, and other things, flow rate and other things must be understood by technician. तो टेक्नीशियन को समझना चाहिए। उसी प्रकार ये तो बनाने वाला तो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर है, सो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर को वो फ्लो रेट क्या होता है, फ्लो रेट ज्यादा होने से रुग्ण पर क्या असर होता है, अकॉर्डिंगली ही विल मैन्युफैक्चर। सो ये मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस डन बाय मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर, he has to then understand what is that biology is. फ्लो रेट ज्यादा होने से किस फ्लो रेट में, when a doctor will prescribe that the patient should be subjected to oxygen concentrator or be put on ventilator, he will also prescribe what is the flow rate, because flow rate cannot be same for a child and a grown up person. So it will vary depending on the age and the can say condition of the patient and so on. So mechanical engineer has to understand biology. The doctor has to understand what is mechanical part of it. So that's why any utility is basically a multidisciplinary thing. Now, if you go to engineering college, you'll find that uh, the systems are now, even civil engineering designs are IoT based.
सर आप अनम्यूट करिए सर, कुलकर्णी सर। कुलकर्णी सर, आप कैमरा खोल के देखिए एकदम। हेलो। हेलो। अमोल सरांचे ऑडिओ नाही येत का? अमोल
सर
मधून?
मैंने को होस्ट बना दिया सर को, सर का आवाज ही नहीं आ रहा है। सर ने
अच्छा।
माइक ही नहीं खोला सर अभी।
अच्छा, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, एक अमोल अनम्यूट ऑल कर दे बोला. अमोल. अमोल.
यस सर कर दे.
हा, सर्वांना परवानगी देऊन टाक. म्यूट. सर दिली सर्वांना परवानगी. येस.
आता
नेक्स्ट.
आवाज येतो, आवाज येतो.
येस सर. येस सर. येस. नाही नाही, आता नाही येत सर.
हा.
परत बोला. नाही येत सर. नाही. म्यूटच आहे सर ते. सर एकदा मीटिंग एंड करून परत मीटिंग स्टार्ट करतो मी.
हा,
हॅलो.
करा करा.
हॅलो. हा ना. अमोल. अमोल.
हाँ सर.
सब पार्टिसिपेंट्स को बोल मीटिंग एंड करके फिर से लॉग इन कर. बोला मीटिंग का कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है शायद सर को ज्वाइन होने का.
ओके.
All participants kindly join the meeting again. We are just ending the meeting for a minute. Again, relog in. All of you should relog.